Hi everyone, Melissa Ullman here, the Creative Chatterbox. Also an advisor for Creative Memories, as well as a design team member for Creative Memories. So I want to show you guys today a layout that I actually was the original designer of on the Creative Memories blog. So make sure you head over to the blog. You can print this out. At the bottom, there's a little button that says print PDF, and you can print out all of the instructions. So this is the layout here that I created. Now keeping in mind, when I created this, it was for marketing, so you want to be able to show the use of all the different papers, the different stickers, etc. And that's what Creative Memories asks of us when we create these layouts. But in looking at it, I'm like, not everybody would want to necessarily make a large cake to take up one side of their layout. So I'm going to show you guys today how to make a variation of it. So this one here, I used the Happy Together collection, and instead of the large cake on the left, I'm just replacing it with 2 photo mats. And then you could also then take that and rotate it. So then this is showing the photo circles and rings at the top. And then I put a cute little border here at the bottom. So I'm going to walk you through that today. So go ahead and pull out some papers, and we're going to just have some fun. And you're going to need cardstock too for this one. So we want to pick a base piece of paper. Go ahead and go to your instructions. I'm going to tell you which ones we're going to skip, and then I'm going to tell you what we're going to add then on the bottom. So go ahead and pick out a base piece of paper, and that could be something that is maybe more a little bit neutral per se, like maybe one of these would be a really good idea. And then we're going to take a piece and we're going to decide a second piece, and we're going to cut a 6-inch strip of it. So we'll use this one as the base, and then cutting a piece that's 6 inches. So I like that. I also like this bright orange would work as well for that, or even the yellow. I'm liking either the orange or the tangerine pattern. Let's go with this one here. All right, so I'm going to take and cut a 6-inch piece from this one. All right, so we'll just go 6 inches by 12 inches. And we don't want to adhere this yet. We want to just place it here on the base, but without adhering it. Now we need to decide 2 different colors of cardstock that we want to use that is going to go with this. And we want the base, and let me just show you here. So you could also use paper instead of a cardstock. This one I used cranberry and black cardstock. This one I used a patterned paper and cranberry cardstock. So you could use a pattern as well if you wanted to. So that's maybe where we could pull in maybe this orange, or even this color here would be very pretty because it's a little bit darker. So let's go ahead and maybe cut our first circles with this pattern of paper. So I'm going to just move my base out of the side. I'm going to need 3 circles from this, and I'm going to use the outside of the small circle with the green blade, because in order to add a photo to this, we are going to cut our photo the outside of the small with the red, but our circles, we're going to cut the outside of the small circle with the green blade. So go ahead and cut 3 circles from that. Okay. So again, the outside of the small with the green blade. I adore these custom cutting systems, the circles. They are so endless. If you have never used one before, there's small little tracks on the circle, and then there's little knobs that you put inside of the track, and the blade swivels. So you just press down and go around the outside of it to create that circle. All right, so I've got my 3 circles. I'm going to set this piece aside. Now I'm just going to take that 6-inch piece that I cut, and I am going to line these up so these virtually touch the left edge and the top edge there and on the bottom. Okay, and then this one here is going to get centered in there, and this edge is going to touch, or this circle is going to touch the right edge. We don't want to adhere them too much at this point, so just put a small amount on the center of the circle, and you'll understand here in a second. Okay, and then we'll do that to the remainder. And then this one will go here on the right side. All right, so now we have those 3 in place. I'm going to set this aside again. Actually, before I set it aside, I am going to choose what color cardstock rings that I want with this. So I pulled some coordinating cardstocks that would go with this, and I'm going to want something just for color's sake. Let's go ahead and bring this base back. But I am definitely going to want something that's going to show up around the outside. So I definitely don't want the tangerine. That's too similar. I could very much do one of the dark sea green. That is very similar to that color. I could also do a yellow, but it doesn't really pop off of the tangerine color there. And then we have this one here, Island Waters, and that would look good as well. But I think what I'm really going for, because it contrasts all of those colors, is I'm going to go for the navy. So I want to cut 3 rings from this navy piece of paper, or navy cardstock. So I am going to take, you don't need to center it, it's habit. But we're going to take the medium circle, and we're going to go on the outside with the blue and then the outside with the red. So I'll open both of these up here, and I'm going to need 3 like that. So you want to cut the one that's furthest first, so we'll cut the blue. The blue blade is furthest from the circle, so cut that around there. Okay, and then we're going to take our red without moving our template and go around this one. Okay, so there's one of our rings. We'll set those pieces aside. And then we'll go up here. I'm going to go as close so that way I have maybe a 1/2 inch left or more on the edge that we can place on the opposite edge. Okay, so we'll go blue first, and then red. My template moved a little bit, so but that's okay. We'll use that on a piece that hangs off the edge. There we go. All right, then we're gonna do one more. And again, we'll do blue first, and then the red. I love to incorporate some of our basic tools into our projects. Our basic tools, such as the custom cutting system, has endless possibilities. Okay, I'm going to set this piece aside. I am not going to be needing the inside circles, so you can save those for a future project. I am just going to need the rings at this point. So I'm going to bring this back over here. I'm going to actually move my mat because I don't want to get adhesive on it. And I'm just going to focus on just this piece right now. So I am going to take one of my rings and turn it over. And you're going to use just a small amount to start with of adhesive. Okay, and I'm going to start with the center one. So this is why I only wanted you to put adhesive in the center, because you want to lift up those edges of the top and bottom here. So that's why if you did get adhesive on the outside edge, you will just need to use your multi-purpose tool to lift that up to get the ring around it. Okay, so I'm going to center that around it. Just press it down. Then I'm going to take my next one and I'm going to do the same thing. I'll just adhere, place a little bit of adhesive around it. So one of the things I like to do is, like, there's some adhesive on the outside, so when I set it down I might have to rub some off. I like to just take my, just very gently, just take my fingers around this outside edge, and that will remove any adhesive that might be there. Okay, then I'm going to take this, doing the same thing, and I'm going to lift up that so I can tuck that one behind, making sure it's centered there. And then now I am going to lift this up and do the same thing with the one on the top. Like I said, just kind of run your fingers around it there. Then I'll just lift up this center one, placing that underneath and centering that around this circle there. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this over, and you'll see there's no adhesive right here, and I need it to be right there. So I'm going to then place some adhesive so when I put that corner down, it sticks. Kind of the same thing here, just making sure that you have adhesive. There we go. And again, this corner, oh, it's got adhesive behind it. So we just kind of lift from the back to make sure right along the edges that there is, it's adhesed. Then we are going to take our scissors and from the back side, not the front side. When we sometimes cut from the front, we can't necessarily see where we're going, so we maybe cut too far into the paper. When you cut from the back, you can place your scissors right along the edge of the paper and just remove it without cutting into the paper. So anytime you're trimming from the edge, it's best to do it from the back side. And these pieces that we are cutting off, we aren't going to need. They are going to be garbage. All right, so there we have it from the front side. So what we did, and I forgot to tell you this on our instructions, for what we're doing, you are going to skip steps 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, you're not going to need those if you are not creating the layered cake. If you are creating using a different collection the way we are doing here today, you're not going to need those steps. Okay, so now we are down basically to step 9. What I'm going to do is cut 2 strips that are a 1/4 inch by 12 inch. And that can be either from the cardstock we just used or another piece of paper. And I was thinking that there is a navy piece of paper, like so. Okay, but no, that's not going to work. So there's a navy, or we could even use this brighter orange. So it's just going to place a cute little edge on there, on those there. So I think I'm going to use the orange. And I just want 1/4 inch, but wouldn't it be fun if we take and change out the blade for one of the edges? And when I'm thinking sun soaked, which is the collection that we're using, kind of beachy, tropical, let's use the wave. Okay, so I'll take that and place my wave inside my trimmer. Then I'm going to take and cut at 1/4 inch. And now I've got a wave on the piece that I took off, but I also have a wave on this edge. So I just have to remove now that and put the straight blade back in, and then move this to 1/4 inch and a straight edge. Okay, so I'll set that aside. And now I'm going to take these and just place them on the edge. So right over the edge of the circle. So it kind of just covers up the raw edge there. And I'm going to do that on both sides. However, I want to show you guys, this is my friend Sachi. Sachi's such a brilliant designer. And when you've got narrow pieces like this, just line them up next to each other so you're not using a run of adhesive just on a single side. So keep those next to each other and run your tape runner, your repositional is what I'm using. Okay, and then I'll just pull these apart. And we'll place this one, adhere this one first. So once you place your photo then on your circles, you cut your photos, you can just lift this to place it, or you can just place it right over the top of it. So now we'll adhere this along this edge. I love using 1/4 inch and 1/2 inch strips of paper. It really just kind of helps offset from everything else. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take and adhere this to the base piece here. And I'm going to use my regular adhesive to do that. I pretty much use my repositionable adhesive about 90% of the time. Get that lined up there. Okay. Also, if you do want to go back, being our edges on these were not adhered down, if you want to go back and place some, repositionable under the edges of these just to kind of keep them better held in place, you can do that, just kind of lifting the edge up there and placing it under. All right, so now what I want to do is I want to take some of the same similar colors that I've used here to use for my mats. And so I'm going to just show you here. So here I used the same color mats as I did the circles. On this one, I did a different color mat than I did the circles. So it's kind of up to you. I'm thinking that this would be pretty. I don't have enough of this piece that we cut from the circles, but I'm gonna also pull this color over to the right. So we'll kind of just wait on that. The other thing we could do is we could take this navy color and we could create mats with that. So this is the navy patterned paper. So I'm gonna cut 4 inches. Let's see if I'm gonna have enough from that one. So let's go to this one. So I'm gonna cut 4. So you're gonna want 2 mats that are 4 by 5.5 is what we're looking at to go in this one. So 2 by 4, or I'm sorry, 4 by 5.5. Okay, then I'm going to place these vertically here, kind of centering them. And to make this flow across, I am going to cut a strip from this orange paper and probably an inch. An inch probably would work good. Or we can go 3/4 of an inch. So you can add this to your instructions. So I'm going to go 3/4 of an inch there, but I still have some room. So now I think I'm going to take this lighter tangerine color and cut 1/2 of an inch from it. So we'll pull this back. So you can add this also to your instructions. So 3/4 of an inch and 1/2 of an inch. And then 2 photo mats that measure 4 by 5.5. So you can decide if you want that on the outside, this on the inside. You can kind of decide. I think that's what I'm going to do. But before I adhere my mats, I'm going to adhere my strips down. The other thing that you could do is punch a border from your border maker cartridge or a border punch if you wanted to place down the edge here using, again, one of these same colors so that the color flows with it. Or you could use your 2 paper strips, and then you could still potentially use a sticker border. And this collection has fish, but they go horizontal. The waves go horizontal. The only thing we could possibly do is to put the bubbles, which we could very easily place those along that seam there. To do that here. But I don't want this, I don't want to see this seam. So I'm just gonna be cautious as to. And so those bubbles kind of sort of then carry over from the circles over here. So I do like what that adds to it. Then you can either just take your stickers, and we are creating this one so the circles are vertical and the rings. However, you could create it so the circles would be horizontal. And so then you could rotate it like this. So the circles would be at the top, or you could put it like this. So the circles would be at the bottom. That is totally up to you. But then you would cut the orientation of the papers a little bit differently when you were cutting your papers. You know, you'd keep that in mind when you were doing that. All right, so this gives us space to add 5 photos. If you wanted to add more, you could add peekaboo pockets. You could journal along the outside of your circles, which is actually what I did on this Birthday Jubilee. I journaled here just on the inside, here, here, and here. But let's talk about our embellishments or our stickers, whichever we want to add. So we've got, you know, kind of this fun little that we could go, you know, here with. We could place this one, you know, here. So we've got a lot of different options. Do we want to add in another color? Then we could add in, you know, a sunshine if we wanted to, maybe here and here. What else do we have? Oh, we've got this cute little octopus there. And then let's look at potential words, sticker words, that we might have. So tropic, like it's hot. So we could, you know, do this kind of here. That pulls in some of the kind of orange peachy color as well with that. And then if it were me, I'm going to go down here and then kind of here in the center. So that gives me the triangle, so my eyes know where to go. It pulls my eye across the layout. I'm just going to set that there while I work on the rest of. So here we have kind of, you know, a fish, which, you know, we could also incorporate here if we wanted to. We've got some flip-flops. The other thing is we could look at like this, right? So it's kind of got where it's just one piece, but it's got several different, like it's got the greens and then the cocktails in it. We could do that. We could take here this kind of beachy umbrella and go here. So there's a lot of different options that we can go with. You know, here's the sun, so this has a little bit of yellow, so maybe we take this one out and we add in kind of the yellow here. So now we're kind of pulling in yellow into our triangle. So I like that idea. So tropic, like it's hot, then we've got this cute little, so what could we find that is yellow for the side? Let's see here what we have that might pull in a little bit of yellow. Okay, we've got this we could add there. We've got cocktails if we wanted. Let's just see over here. Here we've got some scuba gear. We've got a yellow fish that we could add. So just something that has some yellow elements in it. Here we have the cocktails. So maybe we could do that. We could take this one and this one and kind of just, right, and then place that there. So now all 3 of our sticker clusters, of course we have to put some foam squares behind them. So now all 3 of our sticker clusters have that little bit of yellow. I want to just show you guys. You see I put foam squares on all of that, but when I'm going here, I'm going to place it so that it's overlapping one of the photos. So I don't want to remove the foam square that's going to possibly be there. So that would be these two. So I'm just going to take off the backing of 2 of these on this side. So when I flip it over, the backing is just off of this side. I can lift this up to add here my photo and then remove the backing from it. So I will then go over here and let's just see kind of. This is going to cover the photo, so I'm going to leave that backing on, but I'm going to take this one off. There we go. Then up here, I already had a foam square on the one sticker, so I'm going to add another one, and then I'm just going to put regular adhesive behind that. And, you know, you could tuck it. There we go. All right, so that completes then our layout. So again, just skipping a few steps. If you wanted to create the birthday cake that is on here, you would do steps 2 through 5. If not, you would skip those steps, and then, like I said, adding 2 strips that are a 4th by 12 for here, and then a 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch by 12, and then 2 mats that are 4 by 5.5 vertical, unless you wanted to create your layout in a horizontal. So you guys, I thank you so much for watching, and you can find me at www.thecreativechatterbox.com, or I will put my link in the about section of this video if you're interested in purchasing any of the products that you saw me create with. So until next time, friends, love and blessings.